Transfer Portal CFB, presented by NoContextCFB. It's time to really start diving into the 2022 college football season and dissecting positions, teams, players, coaching beef. You know, we do all of it. Yeah, there be coaching beef. But today we're talking receivers. Liam here with Andrew Wilson. We're ready to dive into some of the most underrated receivers in the country. In our opinion, comment below who you think are some of the most underrated receivers in the country. Please like and subscribe, and let's just get right into this. Andrew, who's your first guy?
Oh, we're just going to jump straight into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, little precursor. We've both looked at each other's lists. My guys are under the radar when it comes to they're not looked at as some of the top guys when they could be. Liam went with a different route, saying that these guys have never been heard of before, or they just don't have any recognition at any level of media.
Pretty on brand.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't talk about some guy from Sam Houston State, but it's
actually Stephen F. Austin, the receiver I really like, Mr. Gibson.
Yeah, so we'll just jump straight into it. Cedric Tillman from Tennessee. You may recognize that name if you were a big fan during bowl season, because he had a stellar bowl game. Let's talk about Purdue for a second. That Music City Bowl, which, by the way, that was the best bowl. I will die on this hill. The Music City Bowl was the best bowl. If you disagree, let us know why. But 7 receptions, 150 yards. I believe he also got injured in that game, and he came back, and he had 3 touchdowns. He was the biggest reason Tennessee was still in that game. If they tackled a tight end, they win that game. Or if the refs know what a touchdown looks like after reaching for the goal line, they win that game. You're also going to see another trend with my wide receivers. They all have quarterbacks coming back that they have chemistry with and are at least somewhat talented. And that kind of fits the bill with Hendon Hooker at Tennessee. Some call him a sleeper Heisman. I don't really see it to that extent, but he's a good quarterback, doesn't make too many mistakes. I think that Cedric Tillman could be in for a year where we're like, whoa, mama, that is a really good player.
Whoa, mama.
It's like what's the movie called? Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Zooey mama.
Yeah. Well, look, my first guy, Devin Carter, Zooey mama. That guy's got Devin Leary throwing to him. What did Devin Leary do last year? Threw for 35 tutties. Devin Carter got 6. Carter's going to get a heck of a lot more going his way this season. His numbers are going to skyrocket. You know, you're looking at a guy that could probably reach that double-digit receiving touchdown mark. You're looking at a 6'3", 216-pound receiver, 93 catches for 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns in 4 seasons. But he only played a few games in 2018, had 1 catch. So who cares? But he's a big-time player. When Clemson was still kind of at the top of the college football world last season, who had the game-winning touchdown against them in double OT? Devin Carter, acrobatic catch in the back of the end zone with 2 defenders surrounding him. This is a redshirt junior that's got so much experience. He's in store for a huge 2022 campaign. Devin Leary is going to target him a ton, and you're just going to realize that he's very good at making adjustments, reliable hands, and really impressive athleticism.
NC State, the Devin connection is going to be special. So from NC State having a talented quarterback, I'm going to go to UVA, who has Brennan Armstrong, arguably the best quarterback in the ACC. That is an argument you can make. I mean, we know it's not one DJ Uyunglele because he is
going there.
I'm going there. I'm going there. He sucks. He's awful. That's Cade Klubnik's team from now on. But let's go to Tavion because he is a special receiver. 6'1", 205. Last year had 57 receptions for over 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, averaged another stat I love, averaging over 20 yards per catch. I don't know why I love it. I just love it. They're able to just break so many big plays. Saw that against BYU. Remember that game? UVA, BYU, one of the best games of the year. Super high scoring, 66-49 final score. We thought that game was going to have 200 total points, and it almost did. But he had 4 receptions, 125 yards, and a touchdown, had that 70-yarder. He is going to thrive in a new UVA offense. Brendan Armstrong is going to look better. Hopefully he stays healthy, because if Brendan Armstrong can stay healthy, wow, UVA is going to be a fun offense to watch, and Wicks is going to be a big part of that this year.
I love Dontavion Williams. I always just think of that catch he made against Miami that left all 17 fans at Hard Rock Stadium in an absolute state of shock. That catch was unbelievable.
We didn't have to throw a stray at Miami fans for that one.
My bad. My stadium only gets 12 fans there, so I'm allowed to talk, I guess.
Yeah, 12 is kind of generous, if we're being honest.
It really is. We might only have 6 fans for UCLA against Bowling Green.
Liam, I hate to break it to you, it's just UM Bruin.
Shoot, whatever. Look, I'll stick with UVA, and I'll go with one of their very talented up-and-coming receivers. I love Wicks. I nearly chose him, but I gotta go with 6'4" Malachi Fields. I think he's going to rise up their depth chart and will be one of the key guys outside of Wicks this season. Obviously, as you allude to, Brandon Armstrong being your quarterback is a huge help. Fields made 11 catches for 172 in 5 games as a true freshman. He came into this spring with high expectations and delivered. He had a really strong spring camp. He's a guy with a track and field background, played quarterback in high school, but also the thing we kind of love with UVA guys, like Keaton Thompson, who former quarterback playing receiver, Malachi also played quarterback in high school. So just another weird thing with UVA and quarterbacks playing every position aside from quarterback. Anyway, this kid is primed for a breakout season, the new Tony Elliott era. He absolutely, he's going to kill in the red zone, dude. 6'4", 218 pounds, huge target. He's got a really good blend of size and speed too, so don't sleep on him in the deep route running stage of things. But I'm really looking for Malachi Fields to, carve out a really strong season and get his name out there going into the 2023 season.
We've been talking a lot about UVA, so let's stick in the ACC. Let's, go to a little bit of Wake Forest, one of the biggest surprise teams from last year, led by Sam Hartman, and a big part of that offense last year and this upcoming year, A.T. Perry. I mean, we loved Jaquari Roberson here, but A.T. Perry, as my phone is going off because my phone agrees with me. A.T. Perry, my gosh, 71 receptions, almost 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. 6'5", 206 pounds. So the dude is very large, and he is in charge. That Wake Forest offense is good. Sorry, I had to make that joke. That was just off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but just such a fun receiver to watch. Sam Hartman this year is going to have a lot of eyes on him. And that means a lot of eyes are going to go to A.T. Perry when he gets the ball, and he is special when he has the ball. I mean, you can even talk about the UNC game, 6 receptions, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at the Syracuse game that they barely won because Syracuse decided to have close games this year, even though they sucked. What do you have? 3 receptions, 137 yards. Oh yeah. And every time he caught the ball, it was in the end zone. I mean, the guy knows how to find the end zone, and that's probably the most important thing because, that puts points on the board. That's how you win the football game.
Yeah. I mean, A.T. Perry is a guy that just, he's a target hog. I kind of just think of Kirby doing his whatever Kirby does. Because he's just
he just goes
swallowing up targets. Exactly. He's just accumulating every target. He had games where he had 14 targets, 15 targets, 22 targets. Again, he only made 5 catches in the 22 target game, but 22 targets. That's just the guy that demands the football. I don't know. He's a dang good player. And you spoke there to a game where he had 3 receptions and did damage with it. Let me go to a guy by the name of Tyrese Chambers at FIU who did some lethal damage with 3 catches in the game. We're talking 201 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on just 3 catches against UNC Charlotte. This kid is really good, 6'1", 185. He had stops at Fort Scott Junior College and then Sacred Heart before he got to FIU. So 2021 was the only time playing D1 ball so far, and that got him into a spot where he was a highly coveted transfer, and he decided to stick at FIU as opposed to going to some other, highly regarded schools, I guess you could say. But in 2021, Tyrese had 45 catches for 1,074 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns in just 12 games. He broke multiple records. He now owns the most receiving yards in a single season at FIU. That's not T.Y. Hilton's throne anymore. I'm telling you right now, Tyrese Chambers is looking to break even more records this year, not just ones at FIU. He is a dynamic receiver with ridiculous upside, game-breaking speed, tremendous concentration. There's a few catches he makes where, the ball's kind of tipped and whatever, and he's even tipping it up and stuff. He's a tremendous athlete too. Immaculate hands. I hate to break this to you, Andrew, but me and you stand no chance against him if we were at cornerback. We're cooked.
Hold up.
He's gonna burn anybody, and he's gonna laugh in the end zone at us.
Now, see, what if I draw the PI, the OPI?
If you draw PI against a FBS receiver, I'll be very impressed.
Let's set that up. Any FBS receivers, let us know. Please, no, I'm not trying to get cooked. Actually, it's not like I would expect anything else. But you talked about a guy that broke records. Let's talk about a guy that is going to possibly break records this year. Jacob Cowling from UTEP, or should I say, was at UTEP. Now he's at Arizona. He transfers to the bigger program in his home state from Maricopa, Arizona. Last year had 69 receptions. Nice. 1,354 yards. Nice. And he's going to bring that nice play to Arizona. The Wildcats are going to be a much improved team this year. They got a lot from the transfer portal, including Jaden DeLaura from Washington State, who's not a bad quarterback. The only reason he's not at Washington State anymore is because there's a better quarterback there, because that better quarterback's head coach got hired as that team's offensive coordinator. And now Cam Ward is going to torch the Pac-12. Tough for him, but Jaden DeLaura is going to find a home in Arizona, and he's going to have a lot of fun throwing to Jacob Cowling, who was stellar last year at UTEP. We first saw him week 0, not week 1, week 0 against New Mexico State, where he absolutely blew the Aggies out of the water. 5 receptions, 158 yards on a touchdown. I believe he was the transfer portal player of the week.
He was. I made sure of that.
Yeah, he was stellar the rest of the way. Had a great game against New Mexico, 174 yards. Great game against La Tech, 166 yards. 170 against Rice. Andrew, that one was for you. We know how much you hate Rice. He torched them for you. Which, by the way, torched Rice. That's gotta be bad. Like, if you put a blowtorch, if you put a blowtorch to Rice, that's gotta burn it, right?
I guess, man. I think most things burn when you use a blowtorch on it.
Well, what about creme brulee? Because you use a torch for creme brulee, but that's absolutely immaculate.
I love how we got to creme brulee from talking about underrated receivers. Good job, Andrewster.
I am the self-proclaimed king of tangents, so we always have to remember that. Jacob Cowling is going to have a lot of fun in the Pac-12. He's going to find a lot of success if Jaden DeLaura can get him the ball where he needs it. And he is a little bit on the smaller side, 5'11", 170, but I don't really think that's too much of a problem. I think he's actually going to use that to his advantage, and he is going to be one of the best wide receivers in the Pac-12 this year.
You know how much I love Jacob Cowling. In that New Mexico State game, the one-handed catch he made going over the middle, just an incredible display of athleticism, and his vertical on it was nuts. His hands are so good. He's going to tear it up at Arizona. Also, those guys really have to play North Dakota State right off the bat. That's tough.
Any other year, I say North Dakota State wins it, but I actually really like this Arizona team.
I do too. It's just tough. It's
now,
tough.
If we're talking about a different Pac-12 team, North Dakota State beats Colorado by 3 touchdowns.
Well, let's get on to the next guy. Let's stick with, sub 6 foot receiver. We'll go 5'11", 185. Western Michigan's Corey Crooms. Western Michigan has had some dudes on their entire roster the last few years, not even just that receiver, but they're losing really strong talent at receiver. Jalen Hall's off to Western Kentucky. Sky Moore is going to be cooking with Patrick Mahomes in the NFL.
Wearing number 24.
Huge W. Glad he's staying with it. So glad he's staying with 24.
That's an awful number for a receiver.
I don't care. It was sick at Western Michigan. It's going to be sick in the NFL now. It's
no wide receiver should ever wear a number in the 20s. That's a corner number.
I disagree. It's super unique too. He's going to stand out on the field.
Wear number
every
1.
time.
if you want to be unique. We're number 1 or 6.
I wouldn't even say
Not
1 is
24.
unique. No, 24 is cool. Anyway, this is about Corey Crooms, who had 58 catches for 952 and 7 touchdowns in 20 games over the last 3 seasons. And as I alluded to, Sky Moore and Jalen Hall. There's a reason that Crooms has always been an afterthought, even if it's not valid. Like, this kid is a really good receiver, and now it's his wide receiver room. All the targets are coming his way, especially with turnover at the quarterback position. You're going to want to throw the ball to Crooms plenty because he's the safest guy to throw to. He's super reliable and all that stuff. But he's just going to do a lot of damage no matter who he's going up against, as we saw with Western Michigan receivers in the past when they carved up Pitt last year. Just saying. But Max and men, they just straight up eat no matter who they're going up against. And Crooms is going to be very full this season. He has exceptional speed with a knack for being defenses over the top. He's going to show to be a more complete route runner this season too. And he's going to post big time numbers. Do not sleep on Western Michigan's Corey Crooms.
I'm upset that Western Michigan did that to Pitt, because if they did not, Pitt is probably in the playoff. Am I wrong in saying that?
I think it's hard to confirm that with the people that pick who goes in the unnamed committee.
They're not unnamed at all.
Okay, well,
you know every person.
I'm saying I don't want to name them. Saying we shouldn't name them.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to go out and call out every one of them, but let's be honest, they haven't made the best decisions in the past, have they?
Yeah, I will agree with that. Before I get into my last player, I do want to have an honorable mention that I know Liam does not have, that I'm surprised he doesn't have. Do you know who I'm about to say, Liam?
I mean, I'll take a guess. Is that an action guy?
It is not a action guy. It's an SEC guy.
Rudolph? I don't know, man. Go for it.
Antoine Wells.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay.
From James Madison to South Carolina.
It's just because I don't view him as underrated.
You don't view him as underrated because you rate him highly, as you should. But if we're talking about the overall viewing of him in college football, he's 100% underrated. When you think about that
NFL dude.
When you think about that South Carolina transfer class, you think of obviously Spencer Rattler. You think of Austin Stogner. You don't really think of Antoine Wells like that because, you know, this guy coming from the FCS, even though he was stellar in the FCS, and FCS has never stopped wide receivers in the past. I mean, talk about one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now, came from Eastern Washington. Should not stop anybody at all from rating these guys very highly.
Dotted Cooper Kupp being a goon.
Trey Lance is going to be a goon. That's just my take.
Dude, no, you're right though. I really didn't even consider Wells for a spot, which is, I guess, wrong of me, but also just goes to show how highly I think of him. Because with my 5, I kind of went with guys I haven't really talked. I've talked these guys out, but it's kind of guys I expect to break out. I don't know. Right. I love Wells though. He's an NFL dude. I had so much fun watching him at JMU.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get into my final player. Liam, I'm going to ask for permission. Can I become biased for a second?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Montana Grizzlies. Love you. Row the boat.
Did you just commit?
Yep.
Congrats.
Coach Fleck, I'm coming. Row the boat, baby. All right. For those watching on the YouTube, you got that. Yeah, that was something. But Dalen Wright from Minnesota. You know the trend I've had. The previous 4 wide receivers had Hendon Hooker, Sam Hartman, Brendan Armstrong, and Jaden DeLaura. Now I'm going to go talk about Tanner Morgan. Tanner Morgan's not that good. Minnesota fans, I also just realized I'm wearing a Minnesota hoodie. Shout out home field. Yeah.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad, totally. But it's not Tanner Morgan I'm worried about. It's actually happy about Kirk Shiraka being back. You know what Kirk Shiraka did in 2019? He produced 2 NFL wide receivers, Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman was a first-round pick. And you know who else was in that offense? Chris Almond-Bell. You may remember his legendary touchdown against Penn State. He's still on that team now. But Dalen Wright is a special, talented wide receiver. When I was at one of the spring practices, this dude made a one-handed catch 2 feet in front of me. And I wish I could have filmed it, but no cameras were allowed. because that catch needed to be filmed. Literally jumping out of bounds, got his right foot in and just made a better catch than Odell. I will say it right now, that catch was better than Odell's against Brandon Carr. But special talent. He's not had much production in the last year, 18 receptions, 365 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You also got to realize what team we're talking about. We're talking about Minnesota, the team that runs 70% of the time. As much as I hate it and love it, Dalen Wright needs more recognition as a talented wide receiver. You think of Minnesota wide receivers right now, you think of Ottman Bell, you need to start thinking about Dalen Wright, because this kid is going, I don't know why I said kid, he's older than me, but he's going to make a lot of plays this year. If Kirk Shiraka can revitalize this offense and make Tanner Morgan look good again, Dalen Wright is going to be a massive, massive contributor in this offense. He could honestly have more yards than Ottman Bell. That may sound a little, whoa, because Ottman Bell is super talented, but Dalen Wright is that dude. He is that dude.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if Wright was playing near anywhere else, it's a lot easier to get excited about the potential production he'll put up this season. But obviously, it being Minnesota and your, flex infatuation with high T football, it's kind of, I do think though, I know you're very correct there about other people hearing that Wright could put up more production than Ottman Bell this season. Other people might be like, really? You and I are both all for that. Like, I am all for that. I think Wright's a sick player with an NFL future. Love watching him play. I just wish that it'd be easier for him to go out there and crush it every weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we could go back and talk about the game where he probably had the most most times he contributed against Ohio State. Exactly. But if we're also remembering, Mo Ibrahim had like 160 yards in that game in 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. So if Mo Ibrahim isn't running the ball that much, that means the ball's going to Dalen Wright a little bit more. That means maybe he has another touchdown. Maybe he hits 100 yards against Ohio State, one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah,
not known for their defense, but still.
He had a superb touchdown catch in that game.
Yeah.
All right, last guy. I guess I'll give it honorable mention. I could give like 100 of them, but Trayvon Rudolph, Northern Illinois receiver. I just don't view him as underrated. Former walk-on. Absolutely cooked MAC defenses. This guy is a very good player who's going to have another huge season. So look out for Trayvon Rudolph. He's a guy that probably transfers out after this season. Will probably have a new home for 2023. So look out for him. But my last guy, really good story. It's Grant Dubose, wide receiver from UNC Charlotte, 6'3", 200, 12 games in 2021, 62 grabs for 892 yards, 6 touchdowns. That was his first time playing at the D1 level after he tried out for Charlotte in the summer of 2021. He tried out for Charlotte in the summer of 2021 and was able to go out there that season, put up 62 for 892 and 6 touchdowns. That's super impressive. He didn't play college football in 2020 because of the pandemic. His school that he was playing for didn't play football. He was at D2 HBCU Miles College. He played for them in 2019. 2020, they straight didn't play football. He worked 3 jobs in 2020, including one at Walmart. This is a guy that knows all about the grind, having to go up against these unforeseen circumstances. Yeah, he's a hardworking kid who deserves everything good coming his way. I really enjoyed watching Dubose last season. I didn't know anything about him going into the season. I immediately became really infatuated with him as a player and a prospect. He's incredible. He's just got that juice. You know what I'm talking about. He's got that juice that you could see after the catch or when he's going up and blocking anybody in the run game or whatever. He plays with such great determination and passion. He is lethal over the middle. He's great going deep with really good speed and size, and he's just an easy guy to root for. I really want to get an interview with him. Maybe you and I could run that. Hopefully we can. I'm looking for Grant Dubose to have a monster 2022 season and work his way from D2 HBCU miles in 2019 to being there in 2020 not playing, to going and trying out for Charlotte in the summer of 2021, to getting on that team and then getting to the NFL from that. The odds of that are I don't
Slim to
think
none.
exactly. The odds of that are so close to not even being possible. And the fact that he's in the position that he is today is truly remarkable. Grant Dubose is someone that every college football fan should be a fan of.
Yeah. You talked about the D2 HBCUs. We know some guys that have gone there and, found their way at the NFL level. Now, sure, Grant has a little bit different road, but story remains the same.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's a lot of great receivers. We're in this era of college football, there's been more talented college receivers than ever. I mean, look at the past few NFL draft classes. They've been insane, but this year could be special. We know those top guys, the Addisons, the Smith and Jigbas, the Booties, the Mims, but these guys are going to have an impact, bar none, to their team.
Yeah, we could have named like
20
each. Yeah, we could have named 15 more each easily. It was really hard for both of us to come up with just 5. That was evidence when I didn't even think of putting
Antoine Wells
on this list. Who we gotta do something else for him. Hopefully, we can get him on for an interview too, because
would love that.
Exceptional player.
FCS, stand up.
Yeah, and. Yeah, just I don't know. Let us know who some of your favorite underrated receivers in the country are. Comment below. We'll get to those. Please make sure to like this video because that would really help us a lot as we are trying to grow. I think we just hit 300 subscribers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've only been doing this for a little, so gotta keep growing. But yeah, make sure to subscribe and we'll catch you on the next one. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and
follow T-Portal-CFB on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on the Twitter sphere, and Andrewster and I can get some more content out. There's a lot of stuff that we could hit on, and we want to make you, the viewers, happy with what we create content for. So we just want y'all to feel like you're being listened to. Is that it? I don't know.
Well, technically, they're the ones listening to us, but we also want to listen to what their feedback is so we can improve our
That's
content.
the word. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
Feedback?
I don't even, the term, I don't know, dude. I can't
We watch college football. We don't know words.
Yeah, that's true. All right. We'll see you on the next one, though. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.